Hello everyone. Before we get started, if you enjoyed this video once it's done, please like and share. Also, if you enjoy the content that I'm putting out, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you cut on all notification bells so you can be notified whenever I release a new video. Thank you. I was packing up my stuff. I stopped for a moment to pop my back. I looked at the cabin, reminiscing on all the great times I had there, and it all had to be spoiled and it had to be ruined, all because of someone, a individual who couldn't stop coming onto my property, harassing me. And it's a shame. I moved here because I wanted to get away from the hustle and bustling of the city. And I figured that being here in the cabin on the countryside was the place to go, to have a very quiet place to live. But this place was anything quiet or safe. So when this happened, I was just moving out of the city. I hated all the noise and all the rackets of the city life. It got on my nerves. I couldn't sleep. And for anyone who wonders, yes, New York City is the city that doesn't sleep. There's noise, traffic all throughout the night, 24 hours. It never stops. And that's something I could not live with. I needed a place that was quiet. I had quit my job in the city because I found a warehouse job that paid way more. It was on the countryside. I also wanted to point out though, you may think you're listening to an older guy talking about not wanting to hear a lot of noise, but to be honest with you, I'm only 31. But I have an old soul, from what a lot of people have told me. I just wanted to live somewhere that was quiet, where I can have fun with my dogs and go fishing and just sit outside in nature and relax and just take it in and enjoy the beauty of it. My father was looking to sell our old family cabin, and he was selling it for about $257,000. I offered to buy it from my father because I wanted to stay in the family. He didn't mind. He actually lowered the price just a little bit. He called it a family discount. But I paid him in full because I just wanted to. And after I paid him, I went ahead and started moving everything from the city into this little country cabin that I was going to be staying at. Once I got everything settled in, I relaxed and I popped me open a beer and I watched the sun set outside from my cabin. The cabin was actually pretty big. It was a one-story, but it was very wide. It contained about 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and it had a really nice layout. My father had gotten it remodeled a bit before selling it, so I appreciated him for doing that. Afterwards, I went to sleep because I had to work the next day. When I got up to work, I was about to leave out my place, but that's when I noticed something strange. I noticed something as I was walking towards my car. It was spray paint. Someone had graffitied my house, and I was pissed off. What was strange that there was no neighbors for about at least a mile from me. The nearest neighbor was about a good 2-minute drive from my house. So I figured that it couldn't be them, and I met them too. They don't have any kids. All their kids are grown and they live on their own. I couldn't really focus on it too much. If I did, I would have been late to work. So I got in my car and drove off for work while making a mental note to come back and clean that graffiti off. I knew that it was going to be very hard for me to clean that graffiti off, and most likely I'm going to have to just paint over it. But I didn't worry about it. When I came back, I made that my priority. I went to the store to buy some paint, and I came back and I started to work over it. Eventually, after a while, the paint worked and it blended in, and all I had to do was wait for it to dry. Afterwards, I made dinner and I headed off to bed again. I had to work the next morning. I woke up the next morning and I got myself together. As I was making my way outside and about to head in my car, I saw through my peripheral vision something was on my house again. I turned and I saw more graffiti, but this time it was words. And what it said brought chills upon me. It said, "Nice try, Kenny, but we're not gonna stop." When I read that, I freaked out. I looked around and I didn't see anything odd or suspicious. I took a mental note to realize that this had to happen at night when I was asleep. I don't know who was doing this, but I was gonna get to the bottom of it. I went to work, and when I came back that evening, I had brought cameras with me. I hooked the cameras up, and I let them record as I fell off to sleep that night. When I woke up, I immediately went outside, and wouldn't you know it, there was more graffiti paint. There was another message, and it said, "We waved at the camera. Take a look." And there was drawings and graffiti all over my house. I was pissed off. I went towards my laptop and I checked the footage. And wouldn't you know it, there were two hooded figures who were dressed up in black. I really couldn't make out who they were, but I definitely knew they were men. I zoomed in on the footage to see if they had any kind of accessories on them, or any kind of tattoos or piercings, but I didn't see anything, which was frustrating because I really couldn't identify these two individuals. The following day, as I was walking towards my car, I had the day off, but I was going to take my evidence to the police. I saw something horrifying. All my cameras that I had placed around my house were destroyed. It looked like someone just took them down and smashed them. I was pissed off. Not only that, I went to my computer back into my house to check to see if I can capture the people that destroyed the camera. Maybe it would have showed their faces. But no, when I looked into my laptop, it was like someone hacked into it and I couldn't get nothing. Everything was wiped out. I luckily saved the video I had the other day of the guy spray painting my house, but that's all I had. And I realized my situation was going from bad to horrible. I was at the police station telling the officers about what I experienced, and while they did write down everything and made a case number for me, but I could just tell they were not taking this really seriously. It seemed like they were just bored and wanted me to hurry up and leave. Afterwards, I left feeling like everything was hopeless. The cops didn't really do anything. When I came back into my house, I was just worried and terrified. A place that was supposed to be like a safe haven, my sanctuary, was now being threatened, and I didn't feel safe in my own home. And let me tell you, that's something no one should ever experience. But it was that particular night when everything just changed, and I've truly felt my life was in immediate danger, and there was no telling what was going to happen next. After that situation, I had to move out. It happened one night. It was around late October. I believe it was 2 days before Halloween. I was sitting up, writing something down, and I was about to get myself prepared because I got a promotion at my job as a supervisor, and I was really excited about that promotion. I was about to head off to bed. It was around 10 o'clock p.m. I was making my way upstairs until I heard something shattered in the living room. And then I heard shattering all across the house of my cabin. I panicked. I immediately went into my room and grabbed my gun, and I made my way outside. I already knew it was those guys that spray painted my house. And when I went out there, I saw both of them for the first time. They had their hoodies on and I really couldn't see them, but they were standing there looking at me. And then one of them pulled out a knife and was gesturing it above their neck, I guess saying that they were going to cut my neck open. And then immediately they ran towards me. They tackled me down to the ground, and one of them grabbed a knife and they began to stab me repeatedly. I was yelling and screaming out in pain, but I wasn't going to go down without a fight. I tried to grab my gun, but the other guy kicked it away. And then that individual grabbed the knife and started stabbing me everywhere. I don't know how many times I was stabbed, but if I had to make an estimate, I felt like I was stabbed about 40 times. This went on for about 2 minutes until finally I got enough courage and I grabbed something heavy. It was my wood chopper, and I hit the two individuals hard. Immediately they stumbled back. They got up and they started to run. They were running in zigzag, wobbling around because I hit them hard on the head. So obviously they must have had a blurry vision or double vision because of the concussion of the blow to which I caused. But that gave me enough time. I had to drag myself back into the house as I was bleeding everywhere profusely, and I called 911. After I told the operator where my address was at and the situation, I hung up, and I think I blacked out. I remember waking up in the hospital as a nurse was looking at my vitals. I was wrapped up from the neck all the way down. After I came to, the doctor told me that I was stabbed about 52 times. The doctor who treated me told me that the stab wounds were not that deep, but they wanted to keep me for a couple of days to make sure they weren't gonna get infected with any kind of bacteria. After a while, I healed and I was discharged 5 days later. After that, the cops said they couldn't find the men and believed that they're still at large, but I didn't want to take any chances. I hated it, but I had to move. I couldn't stay there. It was too much of a risk, and I'm afraid that those guys were going to come back and finish the job. So I immediately put the house up for sale, and I told my father about it. He understood, and he hated that it had to be that way. And much as I really wanted it to be a part of the family, and it breaks my heart, but I couldn't live there anymore. After I sold the house, I moved back into the city, and I realized that maybe the city life wasn't so bad after all. I just hope whoever gets that place, they don't have to deal with those two individuals